G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. As you can see, I'm up here on Mount Tomorrie this morning, and it's a good 200 metres down that cliff face, down to the water. It's a beautiful, magnificent winter's morning, a little bit breezy. So on the other side of Mount Tomorrie, on the other side, it's very, very breezy, so I can't go over that side. Otherwise, the mic will get buffeted by the wind. But it's a glorious day, and I always come up here to Mount Tomorrie whenever I'm up here at Nelson Bay, because this is my bolt hole. This is where I come to become one with the mountain, one with life, and to risk a little bit, but to gain a lot. As you can see, there's a good 360-degree view up here of the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean up there, and then when we swing around here, we've got the other entrance to Port Stephens. We've got Hawk's Nest. We've got Jimmy's Beach along here, and it's just absolutely magnificent. What I noticed before, you probably can't see it from where we're at the moment, but let me get my bearings. Over there, just on that point over there, is where the lighthouse is, but you can't get across there anymore, or at least for a temporary amount of time, because the ocean has washed away the sandbar, the spit that joined Fingal Bay Beach to the rest of the ocean. So you can't get across there, but there are a stack of whales there breaching at the moment. And I remember being there about a year ago, and about 100 metres offshore, you can almost touch them, you can almost hear them, you can almost feel them. They just launch out of the water and explode. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Hopefully I'll get there one day, because what I've done is I found a big, beautiful shell on the beach one day, and I went and buried it over there so that I can take my granddaughter Annabelle. But now I've got two granddaughters, Annabelle and Elizabeth, so hopefully I can take both of them across the spit one day and go on a discovery sort of tour and pretend that I re-find this big seashell and just see the look on their faces. But I don't know if I'm ever going to get over there again. So anybody watching this video, there's a big shell that I've buried over there next to a rock, which I look forward to trying to rediscover one day with friends and family. Anyway, whilst I've got everybody's attention, there was another massive whale there just breaching offshore. So what I'll do is I'll have the, there you go. I think you can see, or can you? Maybe not. I'll just have the camera pointed out there just in case they come up again. But if you see a lot of white and an explosion, it's a whale breaching and enjoying this winter's day with us. So today's book summary that I'm going to take you through is entitled Quiet Power by an author named Susan Cain, who writes about being an introvert, being introverted, and how to find your way in this extroverted world. So she kicks off the book summary with a quote where she says that most great ideas spring from solitude. So the philosophers of old, the inventors of our times, what we're able to deduce from their experiences is that many of them were isolated and quiet people, and were able to come up with some massive and magical outcomes that basically changed the world. But the author also acknowledges and reminds us, and we all know this, we've all grown up in today's world, and we know that this is very, very spot on and on the money, that the world seems to admire people who like to draw attention to themselves, the extroverts, the extroverts in our lives, the extroverts in the companies that we work in, the extroverts in our families. People praise social media influencers. It doesn't matter what they do, what they say. And we've all got these friends on the internet which get a lot of attention because they're sexy, because they're beautiful, because they do things which are out of the ordinary. But the internet and people praise social media influencers, movie stars and pop stars. So people who are extroverted, people who go outside of themselves, as the author suggests, are the ones that society seems to admire. I've made this point time and time again. I remember years ago when I was a young bloke and I'd be going to nightclubs with my friends, my university friends, and we were amazed at whenever a drug dealer, or whenever a pimp, or whenever some lowlife came into the club, everybody without without exception would go out of their way to go and say hello, to go and introduce themselves, and to want to be their friend. And it always disappointed me, to tell you the truth, saying that you could befriend good people, nice people, people who are going to be around for the long term and add value, and yet people wanted to be friends with the bad boys. It's human nature, I guess. But we also learn that the bold, the most outspoken, tend to progress further. So what about the quiet introvert? How can they get a leg up? How can they gain traction in a world that is revolving around the loud voices, the show-offs, the people who talk themselves up all the time? What can we learn? What can we learn to help the introverts, the magical and masterful introverts? So the first point to come out of this book from this author is that introverts think something is wrong with them because the world doesn't understand them. And this author here tells us that there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with being quiet, with being introverted, because we all, most of us, are introverted to a certain extent and extroverted to a certain extent. The author tells us that most people are what we call ambiverts, are both introverted and extroverted, depending on the situation, depending on the social circle, and depending on what's going on in their lives. Apparently there's only about 10% of the population who are fully extrovert all the time. So they're the pop stars, as you could imagine. They're the what else could they be? They're the strippers, the jokers, the comedians. I'm on the other side now, so we'll get a bit of buffeting. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a view from where we are here, and then I'll head down to a little area on the other side, which is a little bit more quieter. So just bear with me. So what the author is saying is that about 10%, say about 10% of the population are true introverts, and 10% are true extroverts, and the balance are things or people known as ambiverts, who are both extroverted and introverted, depending on the situation, as we mentioned before. So what can we learn from this? So introverts, what's special about introverts? Introverts have a wonderful inner life. I remember hearing years ago somebody explaining the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. And they say that an extrovert is outrageous. Outrageous. Their rage is outside of them. They get fun and they get enjoyment outside of their environment. Whereas an introvert is, you can describe them, according to this other author that I talked about, as being enrageous. They love their internal world. They love their peace and quiet. They love their processes. Enrageous. So there you go. There's something to mull over. So the introvert, according to the author, and all of us, when we have times of introversion, we look inside ourselves and prefer the quiet and the safe environment of our own solitude and our own safe environments. Because we need this in order to recharge. Because I guess being extroverted all the time is draining. You know, you drain your own energy, but I've got to tell you, when you're hanging around people who are extroverted and you're with them for a long time, I can only take them in bursts, because sooner or later they drain you and they drain themselves. So we all need a break from the big, massive extroverts in our lives. Yep, we all enjoy partying. We all enjoy being loud and having fun and having drinks. But what I've learned in my life is I really enjoy that stuff, but I enjoy it in bursts, short bursts, and then being able to escape to my bolt hole, wherever it is. And as I said, today I've brought you up to one of my many bolt holes, and it's up here at Mount Tomorrie, where I can be one with nature, one with the environment, and be as loud or as quiet as I need without feeling drained, I guess is the best way of describing it. So studies have found that introverts are more delicate, that they are people who are more delicate. So it's interesting to understand, because what we're saying is that the introverts have been brought up maybe in a quieter environment. Maybe they are only children. Maybe they have elderly parents where quiet and silence is the way to go. So what they're saying here is that introverts are more delicate and they're more sensitive to sounds, sights and tastes. Just yesterday I saw a parent, or this morning actually, a parent walking with a child, and the child had her ears cupped with her hands because I guess she didn't like the sounds of the drilling or the sounds of the cars or something around her. So that too could be an indication that that child could grow up to be an introvert or partially introverted, but who knows? So what they're saying is that they have a stronger reaction to the environment around them. But there is nothing wrong, the author reminds us, there is nothing wrong with introverts. That's how they naturally are. So don't try and change an introvert is, I guess, the call to action, and to appreciate them, to accept them, to embrace them, and to know that their style is acceptable and also very, very powerful. And it doesn't need to be fixed. If you're an introvert, if you're quiet, you don't need to be fixed, because you're okay, you're enough, is what the author is saying. And you have qualities that can be leveraged in a family environment, in an organisational environment, in a team environment, you name it. So how do we go about it? So for teachers, for parents who have quiet children, the way to connect with a quiet student needs to be intentional. You need to think about it. You need to design a program. You need to have a plan to be able to connect with them with your teaching techniques and with your parenting, I guess, techniques is another way of suggesting it. So classroom discussion doesn't work for everybody. I remember when I was younger, believe it or not, I am a shy person. I'm very, very shy. Even though I blab away on the gym's 5 a.m. club and I dance with passion and I enjoy my life, I am shy. I am a shy person, believe it or not. But I remember when I was young, I used to hate class discussion or expressing my opinions to people around me. Whereas now, it's just a natural part of my being. I've basically come out, and I'm able to express myself freely without any worry. You know, just the other day, a friend of mine on Facebook called me a bully for an opinion that I had. It doesn't bother me. You know, people can say whatever they want. It's the labels that I place upon myself that matter. And they don't understand the intention, they don't understand my communication style. And as I say to myself time and time again, for somebody to call me a bully, of all people, means that they clearly don't understand me, and they will never ever understand who I am as a person and what I bring to the table. So, as we said here, not everybody is comfortable voicing opinions. And that's why people need to be careful not to put words into their mouths, I guess is one way of saying it. Because in front of other people, they are shy, they are reserved. So if you are a person who is quiet, who is reserved, who is shy, make sure you let other people around you know. Make sure you let your teachers know. Make sure you make your employers know of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because as we said, not everybody is a show pony. Not everybody can express themselves freely and not feel pressured and drained all the time. So one of the ways of getting around it in class, for example, as the author suggests here, is to make sure that you get people, rather than discuss something in the entirety in front of the class, to do it one-on-one. I am really, really good at one-on-one. You know, if you want me as a friend, one-on-one is my skill. One-on-one is where I shine. One-on-one is where I am an absolute champion. And that's probably where I get my strength from in terms of Jim's 5am Club, because I am one-on-one. It's me and you. Even though it's live, even though it's broadcast to a huge audience, I am very, very comfortable expressing my opinion and expressing my ideas, my wisdom, other people's knowledge and experiences on this media, because it allows me, as a partial introvert, to be one-on-one and not to fear the crowd, not to fear the huge group, not to fear what other people think, say or do. Because for me, it's just me and you. I'm connecting via this media with one other person at a time. So think about it. And I encourage my friends and family to become vloggers and to go one-on-one with your family, friends, and all the other people that you know. So the last points to come out of this book summary, the last formal point, is where the author says that we need to use the power of friends, a quiet spot, and focus, and the focus of you in order to succeed as an introvert. If you need to go to an event, and once again, I'm not comfortable going to events. I've never been comfortable going to events by myself. But what the author says here, because I was an only child, I'd always feel awkward turning up by myself and breaking the ice with people. Whereas now I'm much better because I've learnt the techniques of just chit-chatting and making other people feel comfortable. And by making other people feel comfortable, they in turn may return the favour and make you feel comfortable as well. So if you're going to an event and you're an introvert, the author suggests go in pairs, go with a friend, go with a group of people that you know, meet up beforehand, have a drink beforehand, so that when you turn up, you're already in the swing of things. The other thing is to remember to breathe. One of the things that causes stress to introverts is that they're shallow breathers. We need to learn to breathe it out. In from the nose, hold, and then out from the mouth. To do that, to breathe, to get yourself relaxed. Because the other thing is that we need to understand and let the noise around us just blow over us, just to envelop us without reacting to it. They say that introverts, or the pure introvert, hates noise. But just learn to accept it. Don't react to it. Is probably the only lesson from this author. In a team environment, introverts can be very, very special and very, very gifted. But what the author says is, rather than practice your skills in a team environment, and I used to do this with my kids all the time. I used to take them down to the park and one-on-one with them, get them to do shots for netball, passing the ball, soccer training, hockey training, you name it, long jump training, all of those things. I used to train with them one-on-one, so that when they trained with other people, they already had the skill. They didn't have to be shy. They didn't have to feel uncomfortable by not being as good as the other people. So one-on-one, doing the work before the others, is a way of excelling, as we're saying here, as an introvert. Even coaching, having a tutor to teach you your schoolwork may work better with the ones who are introverts, because of course an extrovert always loves an audience, and they will always excel in a class environment where they know what they know and they can show it off to everybody. The other good thing about the introverts, and we're just finishing up now, so sorry for talking so long, is that they use their vivid imaginations. Because introverts love solitude, they also have very, very active and vivid imaginations, which can work to their favour, according to this author. It's a strength that can be leveraged. So if you have introverted or introvert tendencies, understand that you have a gift of a vivid imagination that you can use to visualize things. You don't have to practice physically to shoot a ball or to pass a ball or to do certain things. You can actively visualize it in your mind, and they've proven time and time again over the years that people who can actively and emotionally and realistically visualize things, it's just as good as it being reality. So there's no difference between something which is vividly imagined and something that is real. So take it on board, use it, tell your children, and allow them to understand the gift of their introversion, given that they have a powerful and a wonderful imagination that they can leverage. Bear with me, finishing up now. So the author here finishes off with saying basically that we should all try and work out what works for us. Find out what works for you. Find out, when and how you become introverted and extroverted, and then leverage those skills. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm up here on Mount Tomorrie, in my bolt hole at Nelson Bay, Port Stephens. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. I'll finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. So thank you once again, and I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can be partners in each other's development, where we can be the wind beneath our wings, so that we can learn things that will allow us to live, learn, and pass it on, to be the magic link in that long chain linking the previous generations to the future generations, capturing and passing on the wisdom of time, other people's experiences. So thank you once again, and I appreciate you being with me. And one of the beauties, one of the things that I absolutely love about Jim's 5am Club is that I get the opportunity to highlight and showcase the beauty of this country that we have around us, and I overlay it wherever I can with messages of empowerment, with OPE, other people's experiences that we can use as the wind beneath our wings to help us get us through the moment, get us through the day, and enhance our lives. Take care, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.